Hello, my name is Danya Perez, and I will be talking to you about ethics of scam baiting. This PowerPoint will be based upon the ethical and unethical side of entry into dialogue with scammers, which is basically what scam baiting is. It is important to understand what a scam is before we get into the discussion of the unethical and ethical sides of scam baiting. Scam is a fraudulent act which is performed by a dishonest individual, group, or company in order to get something of value. There are various types of scams that occur each and every day. Millions are affected. One of the most common types of scams occur in emails. That spam folder that you see sometimes contains one of those scam emails. There are emails that are sent out from scammers that want to get personal information from the person. They fool you by acting as if they were, for example, your credit card company. And they will ask you for your personal information, such as PIN for your debit card, the number of your credit card, and you will fall into this trap because you would think that is legitimately the company that is seeking for this information. You would never think that it's a person. So you always have to be careful when you're opening emails and make sure that the sender is from and the actual legitimate place that they're stating that they're representing. Now that we have understood what a scam is, we can now fully understand what scam baiting is. Scam baiting is when you enter into a dialogue with scammers, preoccupying them in order to protect potential victims. So, someone poses as a potential victim of a scammer, and while they're doing that, they're preoccupying the scammer from actually targeting someone whom is clueless as to what's happening because the scam baiter knows exactly what's going to happen. They know that this is a scam, so they know that not to fall for any of the scammer's tricks. One of the most common scams would be the Nigerian scam. This is where a scammer sends a letter, email, or text message offering a large sum of money to help them transfer their fortune out of their country. And of course, there is no large sum of fortune, and so they may use pity to get the help of these potential victims, and they will fall into the scammer's trap because they will use pity as a way to get them to help them. Now that we have learned what a scam is, what scam baiting is, and even provide an example of what both of these things are, we will move on into providing the ethical standard for which we will put up against the ethics of scam baiting. And we will use ACM, which is the Association for Computing Machinery Code of Ethics and Professional Conduct. The following ethical standards will be applied to scam baiting, which is contribute to society and human well-being, and be honest and trustworthy. I will talk a little bit more about the ethical standards that we will use for scam baiting. For contribute to society and human well-being, what this means is that this principle concerning that this is a principle concerning the quality of life of all people affirms an obligation to protect fundamental human rights and to respect the diversity of all cultures, an essential aim of computing professionals is to minimize negative consequences of computing systems, including threats to health and safety. When designing or implementing systems, computing professionals must attempt to ensure that the products of their efforts will be used in socially responsible ways, will meet social needs, and will avoid harmful effects to health and welfare. And as for be honest and trustworthy, it explains that a computer professional has a duty to be honest about his or her own qualifications and about any circumstances that might lead to conflicts of interest. And keeping that in mind, uh, for contribute to society and human well-being, an example regarding scam baiting would be that it is helping people being protective from being scammed. By this, it is contributing to society and making people happy. Because of course, who wants to be scammed? Someone who's not scammed is going to be happy. And as for be honest and trustworthy, an example would be though scam baiting is supposed to help protect potential victims from getting scammed, the person scam baiting is being dishonest when they pose as a potential victim. Now we will talk about the ethical side of scam baiting. And why is scam baiting ethical? Well, ethical because the reason why scam baiting exists is because someone is trying to protect people from becoming victims from scams, just like you would punish any criminal for committing a crime. So would you punish a scammer for scamming people? And of course, it is ethical to to punish criminals, and thus scam baiting is that punishment for that crime that the scammer is committing. Now we will look at the unethical side of scam baiting. And why is it unethical? Well, because someone is engaging with a criminal, which could be dangerous. It could have a really bad, really bad result because of this person engaging with this criminal. They don't know just how dangerous this person may be and just how far they may go to try to get what they want. They might start threatening the person who is scam baiting them. And also, the person is posing as a potential victim, which means they're being deceitful. And being deceitful is being unethical, being dishonest. After comparing both sides of whether scam baiting is ethical or unethical, I have come to the conclusion that it is ethical because it is good for society. And what is good for society is always the best option. It is good for society since the whole reason scam baiting exists is because scammers need to be punished. And their way of punishment would be them not being able to scam other people. And keeping other people from being scammed is helping society be a much happier place. And of course, happier people produce better, so that also helps with productivity. And thus, this is why scam baiting is ethical, because it's keeping people happy, meaning productivity, which is equal for a better working society, which is, of course, a great thing.